Just wanted to talk, that's all.
How's it going, everybody? Welcome back. And joining me tonight is Mr. Franklin Delano Baseball. Frankie Baseball himself. I was just telling you, that's my favorite nickname for you now. I think it's very apropos. How you doing, my friend?
I'm doing well. I think I'm going to start signing that when people ask for my autograph. I think I'm going to sign it as Franklin Delano Baseball because I get plenty of autographs every week. So it's I'll be doing.
I was going to say, like, we do have a mental health problem in this country, and if people are asking for our autographs for any reason, other than to steal our signatures so that they can fraudulently take our bank accounts, I think that they're suffering from mental health issues and need intervention in the worst way. So in this episode, Mr. Baseball, we're going to talk about the non-tender deadline. The Yankees non-tendered a couple of names that we are familiar with. We're going to talk about the Trent Grisham ripple effects. Also, we're going to talk a little bit about Devin Williams. Obviously, the news that there's a potential reunion brewing. We could talk about Brian Cashman's comments on the Japanese market. And we'll take some audience voicemails. So, Frankie, what do you say we get started with the non-tender deadline? How's that sound?
Sounds good. Let's do it.
Okay, so the Yankees did make a couple of moves. So they did re-sign Clark Schmidt, which I find interesting because he's not going to pitch until at least August, maybe September. And I'd be doubtful if he's 100% at all. Maybe by the postseason. I mean, we saw Shane Bieber play a role after having Tommy John surgery. He came back this year and pitched in the postseason in a big way for the Toronto Blue Jays. Maybe Clark Schmidt is that guy next year for the Yankees. $4.5 million is reasonable if he ends up having an impact. I think it's a reasonable gamble to take, and it prevents him from being a free agent. And then, signing with the Rays or signing with the Red Sox or signing with the Dodgers and becoming a stud, or the Blue Jays, and coming back to bite us in the playoffs. What are your thoughts on signing Schmidt? And obviously Cabrera is a no-brainer. He's very valuable to the team, not only in his versatility, but his personality. Even though he's coming back from an injury, I think that he will play a role. What are your thoughts on all of these moves? And we should also mention who did not get contracts. Michael Arias, Jake Cousins, Scott Efros, Ian Hamilton, and goodbye, Mark Leiter Jr.
Well, first of all, yes, Cabrera, no-brainer. It's going to be good to have him back. Schmidt, as you mentioned, it's questionable because he's only going to be here for, a few months of the season right at the end. But look, we've seen good things out of him. I have no problem with it. It's $4.5 million. It's not much. I did want to talk about the guys who we decided to let go. No real surprises here, but I am so glad the Mark Leiter Jr. experiment is over. Like, that guy gave up more home runs than like Clay Holmes and Devin Williams combined. What a disaster he was. Goodbye. I don't know if Scott Efros ever played for the team, but he's gone.
Barely,
thank God.
Barely.
And yeah, Jake Cousins, he looked promising for a while, but wasn't able to stay healthy. Hamilton's gone. He just wasn't. He lost it last year, and then Arias, whatever. So yeah, no real surprises with the guys that we lost.
Yeah, I am not going to miss Mark Leiter Jr. And Hamilton, he was one of those guys who was kind of like lightning in a bottle for a minute. He was really, really good. But then last year, just not the same pitcher. William Conahay says, Corey Seager, any shot with the super chat. I don't know if the Yankees are going to want to take on that money. We can talk a little bit more about roster construction in a few minutes, but I don't think that that's going to happen. Although it is clear that the Rangers are considering, breaking it down. Let's take a look at some of the guys they non-tendered. So Adolis Garcia is no longer with the Texas Rangers. World Series hero. I mean, this guy was an absolute stud a couple of years ago. I remember we were covering Foul Territory during that World Series together, and he was going off during that whole postseason. Alek Manoah, that one surprised me because, the Jays are coming off of the World Series appearance. Obviously, they went 7 games. They played as many home postseason games as they could have possibly played. They made a ton of money, and pitching was a little bit thin for them there towards the end. Obviously, Manoah's had some weight issues. He's had some performance issues. He's had some surgeries. I thought they would bring him back. I'm surprised. Is he somebody you would maybe take a flyer on? Maybe a minor league deal if he was willing to take it and with a shot to if he makes the roster out of spring training, because the Yankees are going to be light on pitching in the beginning of the season.
Yeah, I mean, you could think about it, but I also remember all the bad things he said about the Yankees years ago. And the last guy that we signed who said bad things about the Yankees and we forgave him was Marcus Stroman. So I think I'm okay. Manoah, we can leave him there in free agency.
Nathaniel Lowe, a first baseman that I wanted last year. We passed on him. He ended up playing pretty well, for part of the season, got traded to the Red Sox. Jonah Heim, catcher. Don't really see much of a need for him there. But that's where we're at right now in terms of the non-tender deadline. I want to talk about Trent Grisham here. I didn't get your opinion specifically on this. So I think the word round the campfire is that most Yankees fans feel this was a strategic mistake to offer him $22 million, the qualifying offer. By accepting that qualifying offer, it puts you in a tough position where you're basically facing a few different scenarios. Number one, you sign Cody Bellinger or Kyle Tucker and your outfield is full, and then you block Jason Dominguez and Spencer Jones, and you got to trade one or the other or use one of them as a fourth outfielder and basically stunt their development. Option number two is you don't sign Bellinger, you don't sign Kyle Tucker, and you go with one of the kids in left field, whether it's Jason Dominguez or Spencer Jones. And to be honest, they're both pretty much only useful as a hitter against right-handed pitching, which we can talk more about a solution for that in a minute. But I think that this was kind of a mistake. I think it puts the Yankees in a tough scenario. I think you could have not given him the qualifying offer and he would have still been there if Bellinger and Tucker came off the board. What are your thoughts on Trent Grisham?
First of all, I will say this. Looking at your comment section yesterday, or whenever this was a few days ago, looking at Yankee Twitter, people are mad about this deal, as you mentioned. I think they're just mad at the whole organization right now because we all have this fear that they're just going to run it back next year and expect something different. And Yankee fans do not want that. We want a big move. And this feels like, as you mentioned, this feels like we blocked something. Like we had a chance to maybe get Kyle Tucker, have some new life in here. And, now we just lost that. We may have just lost out on Bellinger so we can get Grisham, a guy who, while great for us last year, kind of had an outlier year. Like this is not something that we normally expect from him. And, he had a terrible postseason, so it feels like the bloom came off the rose there. To be honest, I wasn't mad about getting Grisham back, but I will say he now has so much pressure on him next year. I know Volpe is probably going to have more pressure on him because he's Volpe, but if Grisham has a bad year next year, if he's the guy that we saw in the postseason, Yankee fans are going to take it out on him and just say, look, we were the guy, we could have gotten, we could have recapped Bellinger. We don't know what's going to happen with Bellinger. We could have gotten Tucker and instead we kept this guy who just was awful. So he's going to have a lot of pressure on him next year. If he's able to replicate what he does, what he was able to replicate in 2025 and do that in 26, then it's not bad. But I think all of us just have fear that it's not going to happen. So I wouldn't have done it. I would have tried to go after and, try to get Tucker and keep Bellinger. But, I want to see what these young kids have. And you just worry more and more about Dominguez. Is he going to be able to blossom here with the Yankees and Spencer Jones? So I wouldn't have done it. But look, I will say, if we run back the same outfield from last year, it's not the worst thing in the world. Like if it's that three, Bellinger, Grisham, and Judge, it's not the worst thing. But unfortunately, we don't know if Bellinger's going to be back, and we don't know if Grisham's going to be the same guy. So a lot of questions here. I wouldn't have done it, but Yankees are the Yankees, and they're going to do what they do, which is annoy the fans.
Yeah, as we take a look at the minor league numbers for Spencer Jones, who had 35 home runs, Jason Dominguez in the majors, just 22 years old, 257 with 10 home runs, struggled against left-handed pitching. I do want to give some positives on Trent Grisham because I think that there are some positives that we could note. Now, his 34 home runs surprised everybody, but his underlying data is pretty good. He had elite plate discipline, 17.3% chase rate. That's in the 99th percentile. 14.1% walk rate, 96th percentile. His barrel rate was almost identical to Ben Rice, and right behind Aaron Judge. This is a guy who hit the ball pretty square, and he wasn't trying to hit doubles or line drives. He just decided, I'm going to elevate the ball and hit it in the air, which is weird because he performed better, hit more home runs on the road. So maybe they think his ceiling is even higher, next year. So we'll see. So he might actually be entering his peak. But I think defensively, the metrics might be wrong on him because he's always been great as a center fielder. Last year, huge step back, but we know he was playing with a sore hamstring. So maybe they're thinking there's even more value there than he showed this year. But, it's hard to say that Dominguez or Jones isn't going to get a shot, right? And if you sign Bellinger or Tucker, that's what's going to happen. And, I mean, looking at the numbers that both of these guys put up, I'm going to put both of them on the screen here. Bellinger, 29 home runs, 125 OPS plus, 5.1 baseball reference WAR. Kyle Tucker, 28 years old, 4.6 WAR, strikes out less than he walks over the last couple of years, 25 stolen bases. Neither one of them would be a bad fit for the Yankees next year. But, hey, it is what it is. They are getting a little bit too left-handed. Maybe they're thinking about a potential platoon. So I wanted to throw this at you. Miguel Anduhar. Miguel Anduhar raked against lefties last year. In 93 plate appearances, he had a 171 weighted runs created plus, 986 OPS. He hit 389 with 4 home runs. Overall, 321 at-bats last year, 318 average, 10 home runs. So maybe Miggy is starting to get kind of his groove back. I tell you what, though, if I'm the Reds, I'm keeping him. He looks like a stud in that red uniform. I got to say, he looks good in red. Some guys they look better in different uniforms. He didn't look right with the A's, but he looks like a masher with the Reds. But I also loved him in pinstripes. He's one of my favorite all-time Yanks. One of these days, and I'm thinking it might be the day after Thanksgiving, I'm going to do like a countdown of my favorite Yankees ever. And it's not going to be like the greatest Yankees ever because like I didn't get to see Babe Ruth play. So he's like not on my list. But Miguel Anduhar is, I think, going to be near my top 10 because I loved watching that guy play. Anyway, what are your thoughts on Miggy Anduhar being a potential fit for the Yanks?
So who else is on that list? Is it Joey Votto, Carl Pavano, Aaron Hicks? Like who else is that? What the top 10 looks like?
Shane Spencer was not with the Yankees for very long, but he's definitely on the list. I think Darryl Strawberry, not like a Yankees legend, but he's definitely on the list. But I don't want Rabu. I would not put on the list as one of my favorites. But I did. What's funny is I've told this story before. I say that I've missed maybe a handful of Yankee games since probably 92. I'm probably exaggerating a little bit. I might miss for many years I might have missed 1 or 2 a season. But for the most part, I've watched every Yankee game since I'd say the late 90s at least. If I don't watch it live, I catch it on replay or whatever. One of the games I never saw in its entirety, and I've only seen the highlights, was Irabu's debut. Remember, he was all hyped. He comes over and he lights up New York. It was against the Tigers. He went, I believe, 6 2/3, 2 earned runs. I think he had 9 strikeouts. He had already gotten the key to the city. It was in July of '97. And then after that, he stunk. I think he went 5-4 with a 7.0 something ERA that year. He was better in '98. He won a Pitcher of the Month in May of that year. But I don't know how we got on this Irabu rant. I'm blaming you. But
no. I'll just say this. I would like to have him back. He seems like he's stepped up his game. I mean, the problem with the Yankees was that he was always hurt. So it looks like he's gotten rid of that. He's no longer. I mean, I guess does a guy ever stop being injury prone? But as long as he's healthy, I'd love to have him back. It seems like he's really found his way with the Reds. Although I will say it's ironic that you say, oh, he looks good in red when you're wearing red here. So of course you were hyping up your guy here when he's dressed in your favorite color. But I would like to have Anduhar back. Why not? Give us something new to the team.
I like to wear red when I'm on the show because there's a lot of blue, right? There's a lot of blue in here, and it's like a nice little contrast. It pops a little bit. I got the red on the microphone here. All right.
You don't know what pain is!
Devin Williams. We got to talk about it. So the other day, we do have to, unfortunately, because it is my show, and I pick the topics, and I know this stresses you out, Frankie. So the other day I was driving home from work and I saw the NJ.com article quoting Ken Rosenthal and Will Salmon. I saw a couple of comments about how it's a $45 million deal that they're talking about. And then about a half an hour later, Rosenthal is on Foul Territory making me look bad, saying, well, I don't think it's going to happen. Do you think this is going to happen? Do you think Devin Williams is coming back to the Yankees? I mean, they just got rid of a bunch of relief pitchers. What do you think is going to happen here? By the way, for the people listening, Devin Williams, 4-6 record out of the pen, positively counterproductive, negative 0.3 WAR, 62 innings, 90 strikeouts, so the strikeout stuff was there. Adjustment period, maybe Edwin Diaz-like performance where you had to struggle in the first year with New York, but then puts it together. Diaz is the guy I want, though. I would have no problem signing Devin Williams if you also get Diaz, but paying $15 million a year for a middle relief pitcher when you're spreading the salary as thin as you are right now, it seems like a tough move.
Look, the Yankees love their analytics. They're big. No one loves the analytics more than the Yankees. And also no one uses their analytics worse than the Yankees. But you know what, Yankees, if you're watching this right now, and I know you are, take a look at that on the right side of the screen. Negative 0.03 WAR. When a guy has a negative next to his WAR, you stay far, far away from them. What would make them think that they would want to bring this guy back? And you know what? I do believe the Yankees want, because the Yankees want to torture us for some reason. The Yankees love to torture their fans by bringing back all the people we hate. Let's stick Volpe in short. Let's give Grisham an offer and not get Tucker. Let's bring back Devin Williams. They love to torture their fans, and this is another reason of it. No, there's no reason to bring him back. It should not happen. Only if you're thinking like a 1-year deal, like $1 million. But no, I don't even know what the minimum is. But no, there's no reason. I don't care what he did. It was better in the second half. I don't care. He was overall net negative. And just for our mental health sake, he should not be back. But it's the Yankees, so of course, let's think about bringing him back. Why not? Let's give it another chance. Because, it can't go wrong again.
Well, I will say this for Devin Williams. He did pitch a little bit better down the stretch, and I felt more comfortable with him in the middle relief role. So if you're counting on him for middle relief, I got no problem bringing him back, but I still think $15 million is way too expensive, and I think that he's only going to bring us more pain and suffering. All right, let's talk about Brian Cashman here. All right, so here's Brian Cashman's comments on Japanese stars and how the Yankees are affected by not getting the business from Japanese stars. He says, I have nothing to do with our business side, so I can't really speak to that. There is a belief or understanding that obviously it opens up different businesses, marketing, signage, what have you, but that's not my area. If I do a good job on the baseball side, then everybody else in the company can capitalize on whatever comes their way. Our ticket director sells more tickets, the Yes Network can have higher ratings, and the signage price tags can go higher, I guess. But ultimately, if there's a quality player and he's from Japan, yeah, I'm all in. And we've missed, not for a lack of effort or money, on a number of guys coming from Japan because they preferred the West Coast. They preferred the Dodgers specifically. I think Ohtani has been a great lure as well as the West Coast. So I want to frame it this way. When the Yankees had all that success over all those decades, they became a huge worldwide brand. And so guys like Irabu, the aforementioned legendary Hideki Irabu, Hideki Matsui, and Masahiro Tanaka, they wanted to be Yankees. That was the premier club. Has the Dodgers and what they've done with Shohei Ohtani and now Yamamoto becoming? I mean, what Yamamoto did in the World Series, Frankie, we got to give that man his respect. I mean, I've never seen anything like it. I think that they may have completely swung the Dodgers as the national American baseball team in Japan. Your thoughts?
No, that is absolutely true. I mean, isn't that the way here in America right now? Like the team that everyone wants to talk about, the cool team, the team that everyone loves to hate is the Dodgers. And that's unfair because that used to be us back in the 90s and 2000s. Everyone hated. I mean, people still hate us, but it's not the same. It doesn't feel the same when we're not winning as much. When we were winning, of course, everyone despised us. But when you haven't won in 16 years, and you see this among, and I guess Japanese players feel this the same way among like young people, they don't care that 27 titles. It's like, okay, anything recently? Like when you haven't won in 16 years, the war wears off. No one cares about 27 titles when you haven't won anything recently. Like think about the NFL. The Cowboys have 5 Super Bowls? No one cares because they haven't won in 30 years. And when you start talking too much about your past and it's not about what you're doing now, it affects you. So yes, I absolutely believe that it has become the place. And I mean, the Yankees should still try and go out there and spend money on these guys if they can. But as long as the Dodgers are the it team, and as long as they've built all of the success with all of these guys, they're going to continue to be the one that everybody wants to go to. And that's the only way we can change it is if we go out there and win some titles of our own and we become the it team. But right now, it doesn't seem like that's the case. Right now, it's way too early to decide. But forget, why not? It seems like the Dodgers are in the driver's seat for a third World Championship in a row, and I hate to see it because I don't want to see anyone do it since the Yankees.
Yeah.
But right now, it's going to be very difficult to see anyone knock them off the mountain.
I wonder if the Yankees will defer some contracts this winter. I wonder if they're going to get into that business. That's something that could maybe change a few things here or there. Okay, so we do have, looks like 6 voicemails to get to, but first I got to thank the sponsors here. Here's a quick word from the guys over at Foul Territory about MeUndies. We get to see Eric Kratz swinging around his drawers back in 60 seconds.
Holiday shopping season is here, and we have you covered from head to toe.
Let's talk about an area that's not quite close to the toes. Let's get crazy with this holiday season. Yeah, that's MeUndies I'm spinning around, but the holiday season, now you can get MeUndies with some holiday prints on them.
That's right, ridiculously soft fabric holiday prints, matching holiday prints with your special person, or you can coordinate PJs for the family photo. And right now you can get up to 50% off with the code FOUL. We rock MeUndies. You should too. We're talking over 30 million pairs sold. Knock out all your holiday gifting needs today with MeUndies to get exclusive holiday deals up to, yep, I said it, 50% off. Go to MeUndies.com/foul and enter promo code FOUL. That's MEUNDIES.com/FOUL. Promo code FOUL for up to 50% off.
All right, so we got a comment here that this I got to talk about here. This is from Mr. Farrell. He was talking about Japanese players, and he says the Dodgers have signed 2 players from Japan, only 2. Saying you can't sign Japanese players because they prefer the Dodgers is nonsense. And first of all, you got to get your facts right. They got 3. You're forgetting. Okay, so you got Ohtani. You got Yamamoto, but also Roki Sasaki looks pretty damn good. And he was pretty damn big for them in the postseason, coming in and pitching in relief, and he looked really good. And there's rumors that they're interested in Murakami, so that could be another one. So, I mean, we'll see how that shakes out. Let's get to a couple of voicemails here. This one's from the DR, Frankie. I want to see if you can weigh in on this.
Hi, Derek. This is Felix from DR. And let's just rinse for a second. Would you rather have Tucker plus some trade assets on the team, or Bellinger plus Imai or Okamoto? What do you think?
So the question is Tucker. I didn't get the second part, or Bellinger plus like Yamamoto. I think it might be like Tucker and did he say a trade? I couldn't tell what he said there, but. I mean, I think Bellinger and Bellinger and one of the pitchers, Imai, maybe.
If he said Yamamoto, I don't think he said that. But if he said Yamamoto, I'll sign him up now.
Yeah,
I would trade everyone on this team so we could get Yamamoto.
I got the Dodgers on the mind.
I would take Bellinger and Iman.
Yeah, Imai. Yeah, I agree. Here's Hugh.
Good evening, Derek. I have an idea for a show. How about a show on the legacy of Hal Steinbrenner? Oh, yeah, I see. Yeah, it might be a little short, huh?
Ooh.
Have a nice evening.
Yeah. I don't really want to talk about Hal Steinbrenner until his career is over, because I don't think a legacy is built until someone completes it, right? If he wins 5 championships in the next 7 years as the owner and then sells the team, that changes his legacy. I think a legacy is written when the person's career in that arena is done. Do you agree?
I agree, and I'll use a Yankee example. What would George Steinbrenner's legacy have been after he got thrown out of baseball? What was that, 89, 90? What would his legacy have been? Like a disgrace, like he embarrassed the Yankees, like he ruined this great franchise. But then what happens? He went out for baseball for a while. Then he came back in. They have a couple guys make some good moves, and all of a sudden he wins 5 more championships, and all of a sudden he's a god amongst Yankee fans again, and is still clamored for to this day. So yeah, I agree with you there. Did you realize on how? Did you realize tomorrow? I think is the first time he's going to speak to reporters tomorrow. It's the first time he's spoken since February. I'm like, come on. As an owner,
First time he's spoken to reporters, or the first time he's spoken in general since February? Has he been just on a silent retreat, like in those Buddhist monk temples where they just stay silent in meditation and hopefully deeply reflecting on the results of the audit from last year? Here's MJ.
Hey, Derek, MJ, giving you a call again. Listen, man, 3 years, $45 million for Devin Williams. I hear what you're saying, okay? But here's the thing about MLB now, right? It's almost like the NBA, how it changed from you have 2 or 3 really good guys, Jordan, Pippen, I don't know, Horace Grant to get rebounds and maybe another, point guard or someone. Now the NBA, you got 10 guys, you got these super teams. You almost got 2 starting fives at the top end of the NBA, right? So here's the point. He doesn't have to be your closer, right? If he's not your closer, he's still they're looking at the overall. And this is just me. Again, I can't stand Cashman. He needs to go, all right? And I don't advocate for a man losing his job. I'm just saying I'm not a Brian Cashman guy. But if you look at the big picture, Devin Williams, for more years than not, he's been a really good pitcher and a really good.
Okay, so I think that he's trying to say that last year was the outlier, and maybe that's what the Yankees are looking at. But still, that outlier took years and years, perhaps decades, off of our lives, Frankie. Do you agree with his NBA stuff? I haven't really thought much about the NBA in a while.
No, that actually makes sense about, super teams, and you need a couple superstars now. When he was starting with the 90s Bulls, I was like, please don't compare us to the 90s Bulls. We are not, if anything, the Dodgers are the 90s Bulls. Please don't. But when he was talking about, we've mentioned this before, the expectation that the person that you're hoping that he emulates is Edwin Diaz, who had a terrible first year with the Mets and then eventually bounced back. They were able to, pitching coach helped him out, and he became this great closer for the Mets. That's what you're hoping for. But I don't want to make that risk. I don't want to have another year. Again, when the championship, like the Mets weren't in any championship window. We're in a championship window, and I don't want to risk it on another year. Oh, maybe Devin Williams will figure it out with a guy. It's just not. I don't want to take that risk. So I'd much rather just send him away, have Bednar close, and let's figure it out from there.
Okay, we got one. This one is correcting me on something.
Hey, Derek. I believe it's venomous snakes, not poisonous. Also, what are your thoughts on free agent reliever Tyler Rogers? Thank you.
I'm in favor of any relievers that don't suck. Look, I don't know a lot about Tyler Rogers, but I do know he has a twin, and I do know that twin, like having 2 of the exact same person, I find that extraordinarily freaky. But anyway, thanks for correcting me on my entomology of snake, poisonous versus venomous, whatever.
Yeah,
All
this
right,
is not Snake's territory.
Right, here we go. That's okay. It's a real show.
From Florida. There's a title out there, what is Cashman smoking? What are all the other people smoking? They have one solution to all their problems. They can't win with Wells. He stinks. And
Wells
Cal Raleigh
sucks.
is making an average of $15 million a year, and he signed for 6 years. Swing a trade with Seattle. Get Cal Raleigh.
Do you really think? First of all, this deserves.
Don't smoke crack.
You really think that the Mariners are going to trade us Cal Raleigh? Really? Is that your solution? Just go out and get. Why don't we just go out and get Ohtani too? That'd be great. Let's go out and get all the best players from all the best teams for nothing. Yeah, let's get everybody. Let's go ahead and get Fernando Tatis and Paul Skeens, and let's get all these guys all at once, and then we'll be unstoppable. And then we'll still find a way to blow it because Devin Williams.
Let's get a time machine and get like 2001 Barry Bonds and like 1955 Mickey Mantle. Let's do that. 1927 Babe Ruth. Let's do that. All right. There's no limit apparently to who we can get. All right. Let's do all that. God,
all right. Last voicemail.
Derek, the Yankees are really pushing me. They're really pushing me. I knew this stupid fucking qualifying offer to what's his name, the Grisham was gonna come back to bite us. I don't know why they did it. They cannot justify why they did it. And if their grand fucking plan is to somehow trade Jason Dominguez, it's going to probably push me over the edge after this Devin Williams rumor. If they bring back Devin Williams at $50 million a year, and then they end up trading Dominguez without even getting him a legitimate chance with all that potential that kid has, he's going to be an all-star somewhere else. If we do those two things, I think I might be just done with the Yankees.
I agree.
We'll see him next year.
Do you want to see my reaction if Jason Dominguez gets traded? It's going to be like this. That's my reaction. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thanks for watching. Frankie Baseball, thanks for joining me here. We're going to record a double episode with Terrence Kim on Sunday to put out next week, and then I'll also put out something the day after Thanksgiving. So we're going to have some content even though it is Thanksgiving week because, you're hanging out with your family. You want to put your earphones in and ignore them. So I'm trying to give you some options. Frankie, I want to wish you a very happy Thanksgiving. And thanks for all the hard work that you do all year round.
Thank you, Derek. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody out there in the Pinstripe Territory community. We love you guys.
See you guys. If you enjoyed this content, please hit that like button and subscribe. Check out NYYdesigns.shop for some great merch. Support our sponsors. It helps keep the show going. And you can find us on all major audio platforms, so be sure to subscribe there too. But most importantly, come back again soon. We'll see you next time.